Legends Limited, Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku. Let's draw this, kind of a fight pose. So, head quite small, have to zoom in. And then we'll start with the eyebrow area. So maybe that frown, that W in this case. So that's sort of standard Dragon Ball eye that they do. The eyebrow then comes out from there. Check mark going this way. So it goes underneath his hair, but it's kind of curved back here because I've seen it in other images. So and if you need to erase it after, we can. Square end like that, and then we're going to bring it back, getting narrower, skinnier as we go down towards the nose, right? So it goes now. It doesn't. Some other styles of Dragon Ball will make that like skinnier even down there, but in Daima it's a bit different. And then the other side, same. Okay, and then a square end. And then it curves back down, getting thinner. As it goes. Sometimes they do these little lines in the corners, and maybe some frown just there. So kind of a rounder eye, right? Curvier, I'd say. So long line there, right? Still that box kind of shape, but it's just like a little curvier. Just go join them together. And he's looking up, pretty angry. And pupil just there. Do the same thing this side, small line, and then the long line. And it's kind of like, it's dark, like this line can be like a heavier, thicker line than the rest, you know, just because it's Super Saiyan 4. And then a circle. Coming underneath, and then the pupil under there. So his nose then is like this sort of, they just do a sort of a letter L kind of a thing, like a little hook. Lots of different ways to do Dragon Ball noses, but generally that's the most common way. And then they add shadow along the side and cheek marks. Just these little hatching lines underneath the eyes. Mouth, he's open mouth, yelling, screaming. So we'll go around here first, like his mouth is closed, but then we'll open it up by adding the sides and the bottom lip. Little sort of cheek lines there as well. And then we can see top teeth. They just go around. They kind of follow the shape of the mouth, you know. and then back teeth and tongue. Kind of like that. If you want, like, you can color the back in there black, but it's kind of like dark pink. So maybe I'll do that myself. So like a little hatching line just above his chin, and then his square chin. Here. This side of his jaw is covered with hair, but we'll draw it in anyway, and if we need to erase, we can, right? So just bring that to the chin. You're aiming kind of for the corner of his eye, like underneath. See where the eye touches the eyebrow. Just about there. And then you change direction up the side of his face, and we meet hair eventually. So it kind of stops there somewhere, because he has these spiky sideburns that kind of hang down a bit. It's different to other ones. So the hair, so we got like a V here, and then those Goku fringe spikes, 4 of them generally, usually 4, but it might be more in this case, but this one kind of goes up a bit. There's like another little one here. And then do they draw in his hairline? We will do it. I think it's needed. Like little hairlines just there. And then we got another spike here. And then a little one hanging down this side. And then there's like, so it's unusual. There. And then here. So that's like different to the other forms of Super Saiyan 4. We just see like a little bit of his ear. Maybe it's to cover the ear. Maybe that's why they do it. Maybe they don't like the ears. And then we got the rest of that big Super Saiyan 4 hair. So some of it goes behind his shoulder on this side. Some of it comes over the shoulder. So it's a whole thing. Take your time. Hit pause if I go too fast. So we'll just start adding these spikes, right? So this one like comes over the shoulder. And then say another one here. And there's like one that goes behind his hand on this side as well. Say like, this is like, yeah, there's one. So if that's his forearm, say, so there's a forearm here, like he's in a fight pose, right? So there's a hand there and a hand there. So you gotta like prepare for those. Right, and then, but if we draw over anything, you know, you can erase, because I recommend pencil, you know, for mistakes and stuff. We all make mistakes, even I do. I can just edit them out of the video, so movie magic, you know. But I make mistakes, even to this day. So just adding the hair spikes now, kind of like a pineapple. This one kind of comes down that way. Now this one goes behind the shoulder, right? So it kind of like stops somewhere. So like maybe there. And then there's another one behind that. So all these ones kind of go behind his body. So it's kind of tricky. So it's like a big shoulder there. Maybe I'll just wait till we do the shoulder because complications. So there's like his other one that kind of comes across his face. and chest here, and the back of it goes behind that shoulder that's in here. So that's the majority of them. There's probably one or two more that'll go behind the shoulder, but we'll just add some texture now. So you're just like adding these lines that follow the shape of each hair spike. Lots of different ways of doing it. You could do as many of these as you want. Some people like to do more, some people like less. Right. So we have what's called a foreshortened hand. So his hand would be really long if it was outstretched, but because it's coming towards the viewer, the foreground, it's foreshortened. It's like shortened in, right? Everything looks kind of round. Okay, so that's here. And then his body's kind of turned back this way, and we have a hand going this way. So just to explain what's happening. So I'll put in this big shoulder, and then maybe we'll deal with like his torso here, okay? So it's kind of round and furry. So it's just like, they do it kind of like this. And they just put some texture on it every now and then. And it is still a deltoid, so it kind of like bumps around, you know. When I say deltoid, that's the name of the muscles in your shoulder. You have like three. A medium, a rear, and a front. And there's a lot of names for them. So shoulder muscle, and then like his bicep is kind of here, but it's all like outstretched, right? So everything looks stumpy because it's coming towards us. So it wouldn't be your normal bicep shape. It's kind of like more curved and hairy. There's all these texture lines on it. Right? So his forearm, his hand comes right out to here. It all fits in there. But we'll just get like the anatomy done. So chest, center of his chest, curving this way. Chest muscles going that way. Other chest muscle goes this way. Goes underneath his hair. Top of it disappears off underneath his hair that way. And then we got some neck muscles. Adam's apple. Got some muscle fiber lines on his chest. And then we got like his rib cage, but it's technically muscles. And then this is kind of furry over his belt. Around to there. Then we got abs. And the abs are kind of defined by, you know, that red fur that they draw around. He's got all this Super Saiyan 4 red fur color coming around his chest as well here, like little spikes coming in, which isn't on the other Super Saiyan 4. I'm delighted they brought it back. And they changed it a bit, but still, it was definitely one of the better forms. One of the best parts of GT, anyway. I'll just finish his pants here. And we'll deal with hands and arms and all that complicated stuff in his tail. And so his legs kind of spread out wide. You have some fold lines just on his trousers. Up, or his pants. We call them trousers here in Ireland. Okay, so there is an arm here. Say it like comes out this way and goes up there, but I think I'll deal with the big one first, and then I can like zoom into this area. So the forearm and his like wristband and everything, so it's all compressed into this tiny little section because it's foreshortened. So it just bumps around for his forearm here. It's a tricky thing, foreshortening, but like once you get the concept, you know, you can kind of see it everywhere. So his forearm there, And then his wristband comes around, blue, right? This has like 4 lines on it, and he has some skin exposed on his forearm there, so that's like red, that part, and this is blue, and that's skin. Massive hand, right? And the best way to start the palm of the hand in Dragon Ball is this double curve, right? In my opinion, because this side is the thumb, and then the fingers all come down from there, right? So the thumb, for example, so they do this kind of start, and the thumb comes over, very like thick hands, like very like big and exaggerated, like as if they do concrete work all day. And then this bumps around that way. And then each of these then fingers curved over, right? So it's a bit tricky, but take your time. Hands are always hard. So we have these kind of bends on the fingers. Right. Very, very thick fingers. Then the next one. And in Daima, like he's like stumpier or something. It's just kind of the style of it. So these fingers coming down now. Wrinkles and things on the hands and that for the fingers. But take your time, you know, hit pause. Hands are always hard. They're never easy. His pinky nail there. And, you know, his lines on his hand and stuff. That's the hand, right? So I'll just finish in the hair, like I said. So like there's some hair, just, did I miss? No, that's right. There, and then, yeah, just put some textures. Is there another one back there? No. Okay, so that's one hand. So we do this over here. This one's smaller, so we'll probably zoom in. And we'll get like, so like his bicep line, I think. And then this bumpy sort of forearm area. Not forgetting about the tail either. But we'll just do this first. It's kind of wide as well, very like wide forearms, very monkey-like. Like his wrist is here, and he's got that exposed skin part. Goes behind his blue wristband. This comes around this way. So palm of the hand again, right? So we got like a bump, like 2 bumps, double bump. I think, did I do? Oh no. So like his skin is exposed, like a little bit there. I'll add that to the other one. I forgot it on the other hand as well. Like his wristband just comes under the palm of his hand, and then we go up for the thumb. Hooks around like that. And you got some skin at the bottom, and like his thumbnail. And then the fingers all curl around in a similar fashion to the other hand, just kind of smaller, right? And maybe just slightly different position. So they're like more front on. So you can see like the fingers themselves at the front. Kind of that way, right? See, like the tops of them go like down that way. So very wide fingers. Palm of his hand, kind of like that, so very stumpy sort of hands. Okay, right, so that's the hand. Basically, I just have to add this piece of skin that was here. And then tail. So tail coming out this way. Comes out from behind his thumb. And of course you can add sort of electric aura, some pieces of electricity and stuff coming around him. As much as you'd like. I like it. Super Saiyan 4. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.